Hello, my name is Noah Capel, and I am currently 20 years old, and I am also a junior at UNLV. And my major is Business Administration and Informational Systems.
Hello, my name is Isabella Thornley, and I am a junior at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I plan to graduate spring of 2024 with a bachelor's in accounting as well as a minor in family studies.
Hello, my name is Chioki Brian Anderson. I would be considered a third year here at UNLV. My major is business administration with concentration in entrepreneurship.
Hi, my name is Caden Oisaldes. I'm 20 years old and I am a marketing student at the Lee Business School of University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Hi, my name is Maggie Conkinnon. I'm a junior at UNLV studying business marketing. My group is here to present to you the UKG Workforce app and our innovations we want to make to it. So what is UKG? UKG is a workforce app used in businesses and many companies for their employees to use as a resource, all in the form of an app they can access from anywhere, anytime on their phone to help them balance their work life and their personal life. It is used to post schedules for different businesses while also used to track payroll, request time off, punch in and out, and switch shifts with fellow employees. It is used in a business to help with time management and to simplify basic work needs. It takes the pressure off of higher management, especially when fellow employees can do simple things like request their own time off, switch shifts with their fellow employees themselves, view their schedule. So management is not having to send out the schedule individually every time. The app is supposed to be a seamless access to information and empower and engage a workforce. But with these specific issues that we're going to present to you today, it's causing more difficulty and actually wasting more time. Some background information on UKG. It is a very effective app. It's supposed to be, but it has some issues and problems that causes it to not be an effective app, causing users to become frustrated and not use the app, and then having to talk to management and take the time out of management's day to figure out their schedule or figure out time off and stuff like that. First off, when accessing the app, it requires a long login and a long password with characters, and it does not autosave. So you have to log in every single time, which can be very time consuming and inconvenient sometimes when you are in a time crunch. When users are also trying to access their schedule, it is a multi-step process and is very, very long. And this should be the easiest to access because it's the most used feature on the app for users, but it's the longest process. When requesting time off or sick pay or paid time off, it is a lengthy process as well, and more often than not is done incorrectly, and management has to go in and fix it, and taking the time out of their day once again to fix someone else's thing when they could be doing their tasks that they have to be accomplishing that day. When employees need a shift covered or they're trying to switch a shift with a fellow employee, it is hard because they can't even see other users' schedules, or when they do try to switch it, it never works properly. So then management has to get involved once again to fix it and take their time out of their day to try and fix it. For such a time management app that is supposed to make work more easier and efficient, it definitely does the opposite.
And to improve this app, our team followed the user-centered design process by Chris Notter. The steps for this process are: first, analyzing user data; second, user observations; third, experience maps; fourth, pain points and personas; fifth, goals and metrics; sixth, ideation; seventh, scenarios and storyboards; and finally, prototype. The first stage of the UX center design is analyzing user data. This part is where we learned and understood more about the users of UKG Workforce. To gather qualitative data, we started off by watching representative users use the app. In our case, these users were employees at REI and Bath & Body Works. We also gathered data of people who had no prior experience with the UKG Workforce app. We gathered quantitative data through surveys given to users. These surveys had questions like: how would you rate your experience with this app? What are your thoughts about the interface and design? Are there any issues or difficulties you have? And more. This information was then turned into actionable data. And to collect user observations, we conducted 3 different site visits. These site visits were at REI, Bath & Body Works, and finally UNLV. To understand the user more, we give them tasks such as navigate to the schedule, navigate to certain dates, attempt to clock in or clock out, or attempt to do work requests. These tasks were completed on either one of our team members' mobile devices or the users downloaded it on their mobile device. We observed users use UKG for about 5 to 10 minutes or until they wanted to stop. At REI and Bath & Body Works, these observations took place before, during, and after shifts. And at UNLV, these observations took place randomly throughout the day.
In order to learn more about UKG Workforce and the steps it takes in order to utilize the app, we decided to follow several employees through the day-by-day steps they take in order to complete tasks on this app. The first task we followed was logging in to UKG Workforce. Throughout this, in our experience map, we noticed that a lot of time was wasted waiting for things to load. People had to enter their username 2 times. They had to wait in between each screen for several minutes, ending up making employees angry. They were late to the floor, they were late to clock out, and they didn't want to have to be late. It shouldn't take this long to log in. The second thing we noticed was checking schedules. In order to check a schedule and see what department one is working in, they were required to not only log in, which would take forever, but also press the schedule button and press several other buttons in order to see where they're listed and where their department is for the day. This should just be listed on the front as it will be easier overall, as this is the main thing people check. We also saw the attempting request to cover. We noticed that a lot of people had issues getting into the screen to begin with, as it does take a long time to load, but also everybody was listed as a person who could cover, despite if they're already working or if they're in a different department, which caused employees to just be overall kind of confused as to who is actually going to cover them. Finally, we watched these employees attempt to use their sick time. On the app, you are able to see how much sick time you have accrued, but you are unable to actually press utilize sick time on this day. You can type a note to the manager, but on the manager's side, as we saw, they don't see anything. So people go on vacation thinking they're using paid time off, or they're sick thinking they're using their sick time, and they end up not having any money coming in, which can really mess up some people's lives and overall balance of money. Overall, this experience map really helped us learn more about the steps, though, in order to see what needs to be changed in UKG Workforce.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the pain points that we found when we were working with the app. The never-ending login was something that was pretty hard to deal with. You had to wait for a phone call, wait for a code. It was a little hard to get logged into the app. Next was scrolling for dates. This is something you have to do a lot on the app, and it became pretty tedious when you were trying to request multiple days and stuff like that to scroll through every date. Definitely needed to be fixed. The next pain point was you being unable to submit PTO requests. You can see how much hours that you accrued, but it wouldn't work when you went to actually submit them. So what's the point? It was difficult to find others to cover. Sometimes a lot of people would be outside of your organization or your group. You couldn't see their training status, and it just kind of gives you a long list of people that work for the company that could cover your shift, but might not actually be able to. And then a constant clicking for information. There's not one big home screen. There's not a nice place for information displayed. It's clicking through to find the pages, and it takes a long time to do it. Definitely needed to be updated. So there are 3 personas that we really considered when developing the application. First was the managers. Of course, the managers are important. It is a management app. They use it daily. Our innovations would give them better organization. And when a manager is unable to use it properly, the consequences are more severe than an employee that might have misused the app. They create the schedule, they approve changes. So by making our innovations, it's going to help them run the team smoothly and ensure that everyone's informed about shift and shift changes. So that's going to be great. The next persona that we developed it for was for the employees. Employees use it daily. By making the app more streamlined, we can increase productivity, because realistically, our managers and our payroll personas, they're going to be helped with our development of the app, but the employees are who we really did it for. They were key in developing our pain points, and their negative experiences with the app guided us in the decision making. So with an app that's not streamlined or efficient, the employee's productivity is the one that is most. And our third persona that we thought about when we developed the application and the innovations was payroll. It may not seem as important as managers or employees, because payroll only uses it once a week, sometimes more if the situation calls for it. But we have to look at the importance that payroll has in a functioning and happy team. They're in charge of making sure everyone's hours are accounted for. Did someone clock in on time? Did someone's shift go long? These are key questions that payroll must consider when using the app. And by making it more easy to understand and more efficient, we kind of reduce the risk of payroll errors and ensures that everyone's happy and paid the correct amount come payday, which is pretty important to a healthy workplace.
From the pain points, we were able to see the goals and metrics as to where these pain points came to begin with. For the never-ending login, they wanted to create a sense of security in the app, which is why there's multiple screens to go through in order to let a user obtain the homepage. However, this is just quite annoying as there's constant loading. In addition, scrolling for dates was a good idea as to allowing a user to choose their time and date of a request. However, the app creators did not think about if somebody needed to apply time off in a very distant future. In addition, people are unable to submit their PTO requests. There is a note section included to write whether or not one wants to use their required PTO. However, managers are unable to see this on their end, which is the issue at hand. It is also difficult to find a cover. Every employee is able to be picked from, so you are able to find a cover if you know everyone. However, employees who aren't even trained in the department are also listed, which can be quite confusing. Finally, there's constant clicking for information. It is a very clean app as they wanted, but because of that, you have to constantly click in order to get to different pages instead of just having the information right there.
So once we got our pain points, logging in, shift covering, checking schedule, and using signification time, I think it's important to tell you guys a little bit about our ideation process and how we came up with those pain points and those solutions. So one, we relied on the experience of other employees. We reached out to different workplaces, such as REI, that used UKG Workforce and got the experience in the surveys of other employees who use it. Two, and in my opinion, I think this is the more important aspect, we use the application ourselves. Us on the team either use the app in the workplace or we downloaded it to kind of see what needed to be fixed. And our own experiences kind of drove the development and drove the solutions. And in my opinion, I think that was the best way to do it. It really gets us connected to the application. This isn't just a project that we're working on for someone else at this point. This is a project that we're working on for ourselves. We're more invested in the development. We're more invested in seeing solutions because we've used the application. We've felt the pain and we see what needs to be fixed. So our ideation process looks similar for pretty much all four of those points. It was based off the surveys of other people, but also based off our own experiences with the application, our own negative experiences, and our own ideas about what needed to be fixed. We think that was the best way to do it. And if those ideas kind of lined up with the surveys, we knew that we had hit the nail on the head, and that was something that needed to be developed.
Next, our team created storyboards and scenarios to kind of get a better understanding of our ideas and kind of bring our ideas to life and put an image to it. So the first storyboard we created was the logging into the app itself. In order to log into the app, you would always have to put in an abnormally long login and a passcode with special characters. But with our innovations, we wanted to make it so you only have to put in a 4-digit code every time. It makes it easier to log in and it'll bring you automatically to the home screen where shifts and departments can be easily viewed, instead of waiting for putting in the long login information and then having to wait for a verification email or phone call or text. It makes it just easier, faster, more efficient. And with that being said, users can just get straight to work with helping the customers after logging in. So the next storyboard we did was on shift covering. Sometimes things happen. Your shift's already been made, but there's things that come up. For example, a coworker, Katie, lost a grandparent. She wants to attend her funeral. That's at the end of the week. But obviously she did not know it was happening. She has a shift and needs to get covered, and she doesn't want to kind of lose that relationship she has with her management. So she's going to kind of just try to help find someone cover her shift for her. She's easily able to just click on shift cover icon on the home screen, click the specific date, no scrolling required, which is really fast and efficient. View those already scheduled and those not in her department. Katie clicks on those not scheduled, presses confirm, and an automatic message is sent to all of her coworkers she requested to cover her. This is less than a 5-minute process, so Katie's able to finish this requirement before getting back to her trip planning and talk to her loved ones. The next storyboard we did was on scheduling. Knowing who you're working with is an important part of the well-functioning work environment. For example, let's say that the morning shift runs out of product or didn't get a certain chore that they needed to get done that day. If you don't know who's coming in later that shift, they have no way to communicate their needs. So everyone's in the unknown. Furthermore, when you don't know who's coming in and what time they're scheduled for, you can't hold others accountable. With our improved developments, the full schedule will be available for viewing to every employee, because right now it's only available for management. Just specific people can see the whole schedule. But with our new improvement, everyone can see it, so it's easily accessible for the home screen. An employee can now access the schedule with one tap and view who is coming in and when. Now they will be able to hold each other accountable and not just management holding everyone else accountable, but employees and everyone themselves can do it for each other. Keep an open line of communication between different teams, and the shifts rotate throughout the workday. The next storyboard we did was on using sick time and vacation time. Every employee can work toward gaining these vacation time and paid time off and wants to use it. But with the old UKG, it was really hard to get through and navigate and put it in, and most of the time got denied. So with our new kind of innovation, we completely simplified the process of putting time off. The request tab is easily accessible from the homepage. An employee is able to select the dates out of the calendar or just view the time off that they have saved up. From there, they can confirm or cancel their request. When confirmed, it is sent off to management. They also have the option to view the status of their request, since it does have to get approved or can get declined. Employees will be notified once it is approved or denied. This update to the app is made to simplify the process of putting time off requests and relieve the employees of any stress that comes to having to ask for vacation time.
So the Figma prototype that our group has created has taken into consideration all of the pain points we have gathered and solved them. The first feature of our working prototype is the new login screen. Instead of having a long username and password to sign in, the user will simply have a 4-digit PIN to sign in. After entering the 4-digit PIN, the user clicks sign in and it will take them to the home screen. The home screen will display 5 different buttons, but the working ones are schedule, shift cover, and six classification, because those are the main pain points that we had. So clicking on schedule will take you to the schedule right away, instead of previously where you had to click at least 5 to 6 times to get to the schedule page. You can see the schedule, and not only will it display your own schedule, it will also display all the other employees' schedule as well. We found that that was needed because users said that they wanted to see who else was working on that shifts and not just their own. The second part that we fixed was the shift cover. So in order to use the shift cover, you simply click on one of the dates on the calendar. So say you want to request May 2nd off, you click May 2nd, and it'll take you to the available shifts to cover. So as we can see, all these different employees, these are the different times that you would want to cover. So say you want to cover Jonathan's, which is 9:15 to 5 p.m. You click on it, and if you want to click cancel, it'll take you back. But if you want to proceed, click confirm, and a request sent screen will show, displaying that it has successfully sent a request to your manager. The third one is six classification time. This was one of the main points because the users using the app didn't know how to really use their six classification time, and the layout of it was just straight horrible. So to do this, you click on the six classification time, and it'll display your total hours that you have accumulated over the days you've been working. So this person has a total of 35 hours. So if you want to see it, this will show it. But if you also want to request time off, you can click the request time button at the bottom, which will take you to another calendar. So clicking on the dates will highlight the date that you want. So say you want Monday, May 1st off. It'll highlight it, showing that you've requested it, and you can either go back to take you back to the calendar to request a different day. So say you want May 2nd off, you can click May 2nd, and then you can request. Same thing as before, cancel will take you back, click it again, request, and then click confirm, and it'll do it, and the request is sent. And then we've also added back buttons for every single screen that we have to make it simpler to go back. And so that is our working prototype.
As a team, we plan on taking a 2-month timeline in order to implement all of our plans. First of all, we really want this app to be good quality, as they did rush to make the app to begin with, and we need to make sure there are no bugs. So the first 2 weeks, we're going to work on our redesign process and implement all of the things we've been talking about. Then we're going to go into our soft rollout process, where people will be using the app and will obtain daily reports in order to see the small issues or the issues that we need to fix that might be bigger. From there, we'll do these additional developments and really tune in to see every little issue everybody is having in order to make it as efficient as possible. And then we'll maintain the app. We'll make sure people are okay with it. It's still working for everybody in order to create the best app it can be.
So I'd like to give you guys a quick little summary about the project. We kind of went in with the motto, every step is important. We knew that each step we needed to treat the insight, the pain points, the experience map. We need to treat everything with the same level of importance. That way we can create the best development along the way. We knew that we couldn't value one point or another because that's how like a lazy project happens. So we started with getting insight between ourselves and employees. We developed our pain points that we explained for you guys. We moved on to the experience map. We kind of let the experiences of ourselves and other people kind of drive our creation for the solutions. We kind of plotted out what the experience using the app looked like. And then we developed our solutions. We developed the best way to make the app more streamlined, more efficient, to fix the pain points. Once we had those ideas, we storyboarded them. We got pictures. We figured, we kind of laid out the rough draft of what the development would look like. And then we moved on to the actual app development where our very talented team created the application prototype and actually put all those solutions into real development in the software. It was awesome to see. And it was a lot of fun to kind of see each step progress to the next until we finally ended up with a new and innovative product.
Justifications. Innovation is key to continued success. Innovation is about updating systems and or products that are already in use and already out in the market. These innovations can bring expansions into new markets, new customer segments, and additional revenue stream and more profitability. Innovation plays a critical role for businesses introducing new and or updated products to gain an increase in market share and customer satisfaction. We've innovated UGK's system at its weakest points that will improve profits. And that brings me to my next bullet point, profit and revenue growth. We noticed and observed through reviews and local crowdsourcing in the Las Vegas area that many users complained about the difficulty and the disorganization of the UGK app. With our specific changes that we've made by listening to our users and updating, we've created a better overall user experience. This improved system will receive better profits in the long run by keeping active users satisfied and not losing them to other competitors who will improve on these needs. Reliable and efficient system. With our improved system, employees can now view upcoming and current schedules that can help them out with shift covers and or improving the process time for using sick time. We've also updated and fixed our sign-in method. Sign-ins are essential to keeping your workplace secure, safe, and compliant. And like my colleagues have even said, the sign-in method is difficult and needs approval from managers. With these new improvements to the system, managers' jobs are now becoming a lot easier. They can now deal with more important tasks that managers should focus on and less basic tasks like pulling up somebody's schedule. Why invest? We want to improve user experience. Improving the UGK app's efficiency and reliability will lead to an increase in satisfaction among our users. With continued dissatisfactions of our users, eventually they will look for more efficient systems out in the market. So we want to survive competition. Other competitors are looking to improve what other competitors are lacking or need improving to satisfy a customer's/users' needs. Our team heard and read many reviews and reports on UGK's needs of improvement. If an updated, innovative system isn't sought after, eventually competitors will develop in these areas to satisfy users' need more efficiently. Maintaining UGK's share in the market depends on investment for this cause. We want to improve the brand name. We want to protect UGK's brand. We want to show our listeners and we want to show our users that we are listening to their needs and their wants, and we are willing to improve and update.
So for my overall experience with this project, I thought it was quite interesting because I've never done a group project in college yet. So this was my first one. And not only that, but it was through an online class. So not meeting up in person was quite interesting because we had to find different time periods where everyone could meet with each other. And I just thought that this whole experience was interesting. And I thought that a project about improving an app was also a great idea for a group project because this is my kind of what I'm going to be doing in the future. So I kind of caught a glimpse of what maybe I might be doing in the future and how it is to work with other people other than yourself for like a project.
For me, this was an awesome project. I had a great experience. I had a great team. And it was fun working with a team that was so productive and so willing to collaborate with each other. In my opinion, it's not too often in school that we get to see a product that we get to work from start to finish to actually change something in the real world. So this was kind of really cool to see how we can put our heads together and take a product from the start and innovate it and take it to that final step like we would in a real world setting. So it was a lot of fun. It's definitely a type of project that I'd love to do again.
When I first initially downloaded the app, when we decided on which one to use, initially I thought the app was very, very effective. You have a login method. You can see your sign-ins. It's all on your phone. It's very simple. I thought it would be something that's very good for a lot of small businesses out there. But then when you dive into it and you actually listen to the users who have to use this for work or on the daily basis, you start to see all the problems that come along with it. So I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed studying this app and looking at the ways that we can improve the app.
My overall experience from this project was good, and I had a lot of fun innovating an app that me and my team got to choose. I learned a lot from this project. It definitely has changed my thought process of things and made me realize that changes can be made to things that may not need it. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was really good. Thank you.
I found this project really fulfilling. I am somebody who tends to procrastinate, so I really wrote out a schedule in order to figure out what I needed to do at what time in order to stay on track throughout the semester, as not only did I want to do good on this project, but I also didn't want to end up having to cram it while studying for my finals and finishing other projects. I really did enjoy learning more about the app and going deeping into it, as I do use the app for work, so I was able to figure out what really would help in order to have my workday be more efficient as well as my manager's workday. I also really enjoyed making the experience maps. I think as an accounting major, I really just like seeing people go through the step-by-step process and what leads them to disliking or liking something. I am an analytical person. So by doing the experience maps, I was really able to understand what needed to be changed and what needed to be updated in order to make the best of this app.